Thank you.
We'll wait till Mike is ready. Are you ready? Open it up for questions for Sam. Start out with Mike and then Andy.
Just kind of give us the backstory behind proposing at the stadium, and when did you decide you wanted to do that, and was it hard to kind of shut that out of your mind either during the game or immediately after?
Yeah, I had a plan for a while, but yeah, I didn't really mean for a bunch of people to find out about it. That's why I was after the game with no one there. I didn't know a bunch of writers were up there watching, so yeah. That moment's kind of for me and her, and my personal life. So, if you guys want to talk about football, we can talk about football.
How much Clemson have you watched at this week? I know you joked after the game about pretty much going to right to tape. What do you see from their defensively?
They're talented all over the place. Their defensive lines are really, really good, really talented, really big, fast. They were in the national championship last year, and they were there for a reason. So we'll have our work cut out for us, but we're ready to go.
Sam, what is kind of the mood of the team yesterday? Is it a celebratory mood? Is it a head down and work type of mood? I mean, this is a position this team hasn't been in a while.
I think it's just a head down and get ready to work kind of mood. We can't get overly excited and not start preparing. Clemson's a great team. I mean that doesn't even need to be said. They're an awesome team. We got to get ready to work and get ready to go.
Without going into too much detail, the Commonwealth Cup and celebration, I know the tradition has been for the seniors to take that out around downtown. Did you take part, and what was that like if you were a part of it?
I promised myself that I would at least go see them downtown, and I promised a couple of guys that I would. And I'm not a huge guy for crowds anyway, so I literally went down, saw the cup, then left because I don't like really being around there. But yeah, it's fun for those guys, and it's fun for all the seniors.
As a veteran, did you have a message though to everybody about kind of keeping it in check, or was Saturday night fine to go celebrate and come back to work Sunday?
Obviously you got to keep everyone in check, and Coach Fuente addressed that, and we got to make sure we're smart and do the right thing because we got the biggest game of our lives coming up, so we're ready to go.
Sam, we're going to go to the back.
Sam, first of all, congratulations on your engagement. I got to ask you, it seems like whenever someone wears that 25 jersey, something special has happened, and of course for you it's big. Just talk about wearing that number 25 jersey Saturday for senior day, and then also just the game that you had.
Yeah, it was an honor to wear that. Just because everything that Coach Beamer means to me personally and everybody else on the team. So whenever you get to wear that number 25 jersey, it feels great. And it does seem like whenever someone wears that, good things happen. So, yeah, it's an honor to wear that jersey.
Sam, you had 15 carries in that game. I don't know, going in, did you expect to get that kind of workload? And as a running back, it seemed like that kind of shifts from week to week. How do you prepare going into a game, maybe not exactly knowing how many carries you might get?
Well, you just prepare just the same way every week. I get reps of running back during the week and H and fullback and all that stuff. So you just prepare the same way and just be ready for anything. A lot of things you don't really know how coaches are going to call games. It depends on how the game goes and how the flow of the game is. So you got to be prepared for anything, and that goes to all positions. Just what kind of game is going to be called.
Was that a surprise to you when you got that many carries last day?
Honestly, when you're in the game, you're not really thinking about it. You're just doing whatever's called. So I'm not even just saying that. You're not really thinking, man, I've had 8 carries already. You're just kind of running whatever play they call.
It seemed like you guys were really efficient on the ground against Virginia. You guys were getting a lot of yards per carry. Just from your vantage point, now that you've had a chance to look back at it, what was really different against Virginia that allowed you guys to be really efficient on the ground?
Starts up front, and the offensive line was getting a lot of movement. When you don't get touched for the first 4 or 5 yards, your offensive line is doing something right, and it gives you opportunities to get to the second level. So it starts up front with those guys.
Sorry, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Ben Bulwer, their linebacker, is he a guy that jumps out when you watch them, or does he blend in? Do you take notice of what he's been able to do there?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great player. He's all over the place. He's a big guy. He's athletic, and you can tell he plays with a lot of heart and passion. So he's able to make a lot of plays because of those things. Mhm.
Did you get to spend much time with him while he one day, chance or anything?
No, the Coastal did it on one day, and the Atlantic did it on another day, so I didn't get to be with them.
Any other questions for Sam? Aaron?
Sam, I'm assuming you've heard or read the things that Justin Fuente has said about you, about how you've had influence on the coaching staff as much as they've had an influence on you. I'm curious, when you hear something like that, I mean, first of all, you've read or heard that stuff. When you hear something like that, what's your reaction to that? I mean, the fact that in just a year you were able to create that kind of connection with a coach.
It means a lot that someone would think of me that way and say those kind of things. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really thankful that someone would think of me that way. I mean, that's the only way I can explain it.
When you first met him, did you think that was the kind of connection was possible? Did you hit it off with him right away?
I mean, you're not really thinking about that stuff when you're coming into like your first meeting. You're kind of just thinking about just trying to get to go to work. So you're not really thinking about are we gonna hit it off and all this kind of stuff. You're just trying to figure out your role and try to do that to the best of your ability.
There's no concern that maybe I won't hit it off with whoever comes in here?
I mean, I can't control. You know, you can never control what other people think of you. So, at the end of the day, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to get to work and do the best I can for my teammates and coaches. So, try to worry about what other people think in that regard.
Sam, you probably grew up watching the Hokies play in a lot of ACC championships. How much pride do you take in your class being the senior class that got Virginia Tech back to the ACC championship for the first time since 2011?
Yeah, it means a lot. Told some other people just what the seniors have gone through starting and just not having the years that we wanted to early on and then getting back to this point. Obviously, there's a lot of sense of accomplishment in that. But at the end of the day, this is what we expected coming in. So we're not just happy to go and participate in this game. We want to go play and win, and that's the goal.
Any other questions for Sam?
How long did you have to wait for?
A while.
All right. Thank you, Sam.
Going back first to Saturday night, what was that experience like to take the cup out? Did you do that, and what's people's reaction, and what was that night like for you?
It was an exciting night, I'll say. We had the cup as seniors. That's a tradition, take it out, and the main thing was to win the cup, and that's the way to end senior day.
A lot of people want their picture taken.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I don't know where you are in the process of studying Clemson defensively, but if you've taken a look, what do you see from them? What do they look like?
They're very athletic. I've watched the game Saturday night, and got good people up front and great linebackers. So it's gonna be a challenge for us this weekend.
Speaking of their linebackers, I don't know how much you've looked at them, probably not an awful lot, but have you noticed much about Ben Boulware, their linebacker that's
actually
a little bit undersized, but obviously pretty skilled?
Actually played him in high school, so I know, he's a physical guy, and he was a good player in high school, and as I watch on film, he's a good player on film as well.
How did he change from high school?
I mean, I haven't played him yet since high school, but, that'll be a question after the game. He's a good player. He's a real good player. I feel like he's smart at football and real physical.
Sam said that the running game really got going just because you guys were so good up front. Now that you've had a chance to kind of look back at the Virginia film, what were you guys really doing differently against Virginia that you guys were able to have so much success on the ground?
I don't think we did anything differently. I just say we were able to run the ball and get the rushing yards up, but we won the game, and that was the objective there.
Spoke about this a little when it was kind of happening, but to be part of the senior group that gets Tech back to an ACC title game, what does that personally mean to you in terms of maybe fulfilling what you kind of hoped to do when you got here?
It meant a lot. This group of seniors has been through a lot over the years, and to able to finally get to play in this championship game and compete in it is very special.
How important do you think Gerard was to what you've been able to do so far this season? Was he kind of a missing piece part of the game?
I wouldn't say it's missing piece. I would definitely say Gerard was a big help. He's a great quarterback and great leader on the field.
Any other questions?
Bucky Hodges a tight end or a wide receiver?
Bucky Hodges is an athlete.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
All right. I'm really pleased with the way kids played last week. Taking care of business in the rivalry game. We have a tremendous challenge ahead of us this week. Playing a very talented, well-coached Clemson team. They've got great players all over the place. Got good coaches, good schemes, and really good players, and there's a reason they've won 25 of the last 27, I think, or something like that. I mean, they're very good. So we'll have a great week of preparation, trying to get ready to go down there. Hopefully, we bring a lot of Hokies with us. See what happens.
Started off with Mike.
You've spoken about before, the decision to retain Bud and how well you guys have worked together. Is that an arrangement you see going forward long term, or I think some of us thought maybe it was kind of see how it goes for a year. What are kind of your plans there?
What are my plans with our defensive coordinator spot? We still got a game this year. I haven't even thought about any of that stuff. I love our coaching staff. Bud's done a fantastic job. That's not even on my radar.
When you think about this matchup with Watson and his running ability, I know that's been something we've made a big deal about, some of the rushing yards. Do you see an issue there in terms of systemically defending a running quarterback, or is it just some good athletes that make some plays in space?
No, there's no schematic issue. It's difficult to defend a guy that can run and throw the ball. You know, Deshaun's no different. I mean, he's extremely athletic, maybe the best athlete on the field. On top of the fact, he's not just a guy that throws the ball. He is a passer. I mean, he goes through progressions. He reads them. So, I mean, everybody has issues with those guys that can move around and throw the ball.
Coach, it was a big weekend for your boss. I mean, not just what you guys did, but soccer had a big win. Women's hoops, men's hoops have high hopes this year. I know Witt's not going to toot his own horn. I'm curious, I mean, just what is it like on a daily basis to work for him, and how does he both, I guess, help you and also stay out of your way when need be?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to my mind when asked about Witt is extreme professionalism in all aspects. You know, if there ever is an issue that we need to talk about, we can sit down and talk about it and find a solution to it. Much more into solving the issue than worrying about whose fault or any of that stuff. It's all about trying to provide everyone with a chance to succeed, and I think that's why people want to come here and work for him. The other thing is he does let you coach. You know, he wants you to go kind of impose your personality, I guess, if you will, on the team and go coach them. Doesn't mean he won't swing by for support and all those kinds of things, but he's got a great feel for people and a great feel for how to be supportive and help coaches do their job.
Coach, we're going to go to the back.
Coach, first of all, congratulations on making it to the ACC title game. Beginning of the season, you made the announcement that someone will wear Coach Beamer's 25 jersey. It seems like throughout the whole season, when someone has wore that jersey, special things have happened. Just talk a little bit about players just wearing that jersey and the special things that have happened this year with that number.
Well, it has been awfully neat situation. Made even more special by our players. And you can see genuine joy in their facial expressions when we make that announcement on Thursday. And kids are taking a tremendous amount of pride in that and what it represents. And that's been kind of our message to our kids is, when you get that opportunity, what this really, what wearing 25 means. And I felt like when we talked about this idea and kind of threw it back and forth, I felt like it would be well received. But the key to it, in my mind, was our players and their ability to be receptive to it, and the fact that the guys wearing that number have made some plays has kind of added to the mystique and really continued to make it special.
Justin, has there been a player or a couple players that you can kind of put your finger on that have really improved more than anybody else from the start of the season at this point, either in a new position that you moved them to or something that they've done that maybe they weren't so hot at the start of the season and now have really, taken a step forward?
Well, the first people that come to mind, is Ricky Walker and Tim Settle on the inside. Just our overall trust in them. Not that we didn't to begin with. It was just kind of a little bit of an unproven commodity there. We really liked the way they went about their business through off-season in the spring and the summer to give themselves a chance. And then when their time has come, they've played at a high level. Adonis Alexander continues to make improvements in his consistency. It's something that we've worked hard and talked a lot about. Just continue to be consistent. I think Jon, for an older guy, Jon McLaughlin moving to the right side, I think has made him a more productive player. Part of that's because of Jon, and part of it's because of Nijman's development on the left side has helped that out.
Coach, go to the back right.
Coach, I know you addressed this a little bit last night on the teleconference. Just your conversation with Coach Sweeney back in 2011. Can you just speak to that, what you learned about him? And I know life kind of has a funny way of bringing things back full circle, but just watching him the last couple of years, what you've learned about him and his team.
Well, I enjoyed the interaction. That's the first thing I think of. I think there's a reason we've stayed in relative touch over the years. Is just because we enjoyed the conversation, and I remember when I can't remember how this came about, but I remember one of my first days as the head coach at Memphis getting a text from him, just congratulating me, and I appreciated that. There was a guy, myself, that had just taken his first job and was trying to figure out all the things that needed to be figured out, and Coach, for him to take time to just shoot me a quick text, I appreciated that, and kind of stayed in touch, and enjoyed having a chance at the conference meetings to spend 10 or 15 minutes with him, just visiting and asking about his kids, and him asking about my kids and that sort of stuff.
Random ones. Start with your kids. Did they get to take their picture with the Commonwealth Cup? Do any of that yet, or?
I don't think we got a picture with them with the cup. It was pretty, when we were after the game, it was being passed around. I didn't know where it was half the time, but I know where it's at now, so we'll be able to get that done if we need to.
You need to keep it for a year at least.
Yeah, that's right.
Ben Boulware on tape, does he jump out in terms of his playmaking ability in the middle of their defense?
Well, let me tell you, yes, he's a very good player. But they have several. When you watch their front seven, there's times in games when the back end has very little action because the ball can't get past the front seven, or the quarterback doesn't have time to do much on the back end. And the back end is very talented as well. So they've got a lot of good players on defense. He certainly is one of them.
And the last one, I know you hate talking about the injury stuff, but I kind of read your answer Saturday as Stroman maybe could have played, but you didn't want to push it. Is that an accurate reading, and would you anticipate having him this weekend? Yeah,
it was the same as it was Nigel. You guys asked me about Nigel when Nigel wasn't on the injury report. I don't remember what game it was, but that's because he was healthy and ready to play, whatever game that was. The same thing with Greg this week. I just didn't use him because we felt like that was best for the long-term benefit of the team and the person, that they were cleared. Same thing with Greg now. And, we'll go out and practice Tuesday, and hopefully everything will be fine.
You've coached in some big games before. I don't know if you've necessarily had a conference championship week like this before. Do you seek advice from anybody in preparing for this game? Do you have to guard against anything with a team?
Well, it is unique. No, I haven't been in a conference championship game. The year we won it at Memphis, we didn't have one because we were kind of in an odd number or an odd year. But to me, it's an honor to get to play on this weekend. First of all, there's a lot of good football players, a lot of good football teams that will not get to play this weekend. Secondly, because it is a normal week in terms of preparation, it's not like a bowl game or where you have to adjust the calendar or anything like that. I haven't reached out to too many people just because it falls in our normal schedule. Usually the advice I do solicit is in terms of handling a particular situation or particular scheduling quirk or extra time or not enough time, whatever it may be. So we try and make it as much as business as usual as possible.
Any other questions for Coach?
Good. Thank y'all.
just tell us what you've seen from Deshaun Watson? And I think you gave a pretty good quote on the conference call. Do you want to re-give that quote so we can hear it in terms of introducing yourself to him?
Oh, I mean, I hope to introduce myself to him pretty early. Hopefully, throw him off his game a little bit, show pressure and, get to him on him quick, kind of get him out of his element. So, hopefully we get him to him earlier. But he's a really great player. Probably one of the best QBs we'll play, or one of the best QBs I'll play in my time here at Tech. So we got to bring our A game to these guys because really great team, capable of blowing out any team they go up against. So just really excited to play against these guys and play in this game.
We've made a big deal about some of the 100-yard rushers from quarterbacks, and I know some of it has been guys just making plays in open space. But when you think about this defense against running quarterbacks in your career, do you think it's been a problem? And what is the key for you guys to be better in those spots?
It's always been a problem. Not going to lie. But, what we got to do is we're a gap defense, and we got to do a good job of controlling your gap. And as long as everyone executes, we'll shut them down. But, Deshaun Watson is a great player, very capable of making plays. He's not a Heisman hopeful for nothing. So we know he's bound to make some plays here and there. So we've kind of got to buckle down and, just do our best at executing and controlling our gaps.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Saturday night was like, taking the cup out, reaction from people in town? What was that experience like for you?
It was great. Great moment to be a senior. Not being associated with a group that lost to the guys up the road. But, bringing it out downtown was pretty cool. Bringing it bar to bar and hearing everyone, yelling and screaming and always want to take pictures of it or drink out of it. So it was pretty cool moment to be a senior and, remember it for a lifetime.
Unrelated, Bud Foster, from the time you were recruited to now, what's your relationship with him been like, and what has he meant to you?
Me and him are pretty close. When he was recruiting me, he'd talk to me probably bi-weekly, and, I saw him every other week. So through recruiting, he was the most persistent recruiter out there for me. And, just him believing in me, after I tore my ACL and everything and just wanting me here, it's meant a lot to me. And, while I'm here, he's been just kind of overlooking what I've been doing and, always believing in me and just I can't thank him enough for giving an opportunity to play, here at Tech in Lane Stadium. And, what he's done for me has been really special. It means a lot to me.
You were pretty deep in your recruitment with Tech when the 2011 ACC Championship game was going on. It's Tech and Clemson whipped Tech pretty good. I guess it was 38-10. Did you remember that game and some of your thoughts about that game and just kind of what it meant to you?
I kind of remember it briefly. I remember because I think we played them earlier in that season too, and we lost to them. I think that was closer than that game. But it didn't really change my opinion at Tech. But Clemson's always been a pretty good team. To be able to they have potential of blowing out any team they go against. So I guess we just didn't have the best game with them, and that those type of things happen any team. Any week, coming any week. So, but it didn't really change my stance on Tech. They still had a really great season. I think it was at the Boise. Was that the Boise year before that? But I still love the school.
Ken, you talked about Saturday night and what it was like to see reactions. I'm curious, is it different walking around campus as a player on a 9-win team than as a 6-win team? Do you stopped more, encouraged more, talked to more?
Yeah, definitely. When out eating or just out and about. People, some people just come up to me and stop me and say how good of a season I'm having and how they're so happy for the team and the success we're having. So yeah, definitely a lot more compared to the past few years. And I didn't think that many people would recognize football players. Other than our stature, but actually knowing our names and stuff. It's been a pretty cool experience.
Any other questions for Ken? All right. Thanks.
When you think back, is it an issue that you guys have struggled with, and what is the key for you guys defending a guy like that?
Yeah, I think when we're talking about this game that we have coming up this weekend, you see obviously a talented player in Deshaun. I think we have been able to get after the quarterback in certain instances over the season. As much as you can get back there, it's a benefit for the team. So I think our biggest challenge comes this weekend, and that's easy to see.
You had a obviously tremendous regular season and probably getting consideration for a lot of postseason awards now. When you think about what you were able to do this year, and I know you were confident coming in, but are you surprised at all at just how sort of dominant you became in the middle of the line this year?
I think when you commit yourself to something, that you're able to surprise yourself. Nobody's able to predict what's going to happen throughout a 12-game season, but I think, there were some certain things that I was able to do well, and I'm very thankful for, this team that we got, and I think as a team, we're able to accomplish some things that we didn't even have in mind going into the season. So, yeah, I was able to surprise myself, and I think, as a group, we surprised ourselves as well.
Fuente said to the crowd afterwards, and I think he might have said to you guys in the locker room, he said, "We're not done yet." I know for the seniors, there's probably not this thought process because this is your last go-around. But for younger players, do you have to maybe try to remind them not to, it's not a just happy to be here type moment this week at all?
I don't think there's going to be a whole bunch of reminding going on for anybody. We see the opponent. We have seen the opponent all season. We know what we're getting into going into this game. And, every game this season we've been focused on going 1-0, and that's going to be, the mindset going into practice this week.
Did you take part in the Saturday night Take the Cup Out tradition, and what was that like if you were there for, seeing fans reacting and people just seeing the cup out and about?
Yeah, I actually saw more pictures of the cup than I did live, and I think that speaks to, how important it is here in Blacksburg. I saw a ton of different people with it, just on the internet and whatnot, and, hopefully everybody got to spend time with it because, the fans are as big a part of this rivalry as the players are. So.
Did you get to spend some time with it at least?
Oh yeah, I got to see it for a little bit. Probably not as much as I wanted or deserved, but I got to see it for a little bit.
Can you just speak to your relationship with Bud Foster from the beginning of your career to now? What has he meant to you? What's that relationship been like?
Yeah. Bud has been an incredible role model to me. And, you can see that through the people who come through this program. I was able to first see it, when I came in as a young player through the older guys who were in front of me, how they went about their business, on and off the field. Bud talks about you got to be, as successful off the field as you want to be on the field, and those things go hand in hand. So, he's been an incredible example to look at as I've gone through school here, and I just appreciate that relationship.
Any other questions for Woody? All right.
Thank you. Yep.
Well, we have a question for Isaiah Ford here. Start off with Mike.
Isaiah, have you had a chance to study much of Clemson, and what do they look like defensively?
I just came from watching a little bit of the Louisville game. They're pretty athletic, especially on the back end. They're long. I know Tankersley, 25, he's pretty good, and the other corner's pretty good as well. And they're long. I know their front seven is really good, and it'll be a tough matchup for us.
Andy.
Bless you.
Outside of maybe a bowl game in Jacksonville, this might be the closest to your hometown that you're playing. And how exciting is that to be able to play in Orlando? Probably a bit easier drive for your mom, I would guess.
Right. It's extremely exciting. I've been talking to all my friends and family, and everyone wants tickets. So I'm in a hassle right now trying to ask as many of my teammates and the coaches as I can to try to get as many tickets as possible to try to make sure that everyone can come to the game and get to watch. Because, like you said, this is the closest that this has ever been for me in college. So to get as many people there would be special. I don't really have a set number, to be honest.
Isaiah, we'll go to the back right.
Isaiah, on that note, just curious if you've ever played a game at that stadium, the Citrus Bowl. I know they played some playoff games there in the past, and Clemson's roster has a lot of guys from Florida. Do you know any of those guys, and have you played with them or against them?
I've played there twice. That's where the state championship in high school is. In my 9th grade year, my 12th grade year, we played there. I've played against a couple of their of the wideouts in 7-on-7, nothing in high school football or anything like that. But Deion Kane, Artavis Scott, so a couple of those players.
How did you do
In the state championships, we won both. Yeah.
Other questions for Isaiah?
When you think about Gerard coming in, getting to know you guys, throwing with you in the summer and all that, how impressed are you by just his whole sort of development here at Virginia Tech?
Well, when he got here, we had high expectations for him, and he had high expectations for himself. So we knew coming in that he'd be a special talent. We didn't know how fast or how quickly he would adapt to the speed of college football at a Division I level and things like that. Because coming from JUCO to Division I is different, but I feel like he adapted well, and his numbers speak for itself.
How about the adjustment? I know we've talked about this so much, but Coach Fuente coming in, and I think people were excited about the hire, but you never know how quickly it's going to click. Why do you think things have clicked so quickly here for Coach Fuente?
Because of the team just buying into what he was saying and believing it, and believing in everything that this staff has told us. And we have a tremendous senior class who shows great examples for the underclassmen to kind of follow through. And when you're better players and when your senior class are following what the coaches say, you have no choice but to do it. So.
Isaiah, in the past, the UVA game has been your last one for a while, for a month until the bowl game. Was the celebration any more muted this year because you have a game coming up?
Maybe a little. We knew that we were supposed to beat UVA, if that makes sense. We didn't come to Virginia Tech to just beat UVA. We came to play for ACC championships and things like that. And as far as that aspect, yeah, we wanted to win. That was a game that we had to win, but now it's time to prepare for a championship.